As far as perceptions of the Hamlin Midway neighborhood or interaction between Hamlin and the neighborhood, what kind of thoughts do you have about that?
I think Snelling, for one thing, has a kind of a strong barrier influence.
Okay.
I mean, I know there's a lot of students that live, you know, on the other side, but
Sure.
but I think Snelling does have a kind of a strong barrier influence, and at least in terms of just kind of almost a visceral feeling, things east of here feel more connected to the campus to
Okay.
me. It feels like that just kind of naturally flows out. Now, whether or not that actually manifests as anything real, I don't know, I guess. But
Okay.
so I don't see that much influence, you know, other than like just within the, you know, a block or two where you just see more student housing and things like that. I'm curious about the new student center. I think that it's I actually think that there'll be some impact in terms of like all of the traffic that comes up Snelling. I mean, unless you know what's happening here, you could drive by and you could drive by a million times and hardly know that this was
That
a
this
college
is a
campus
college
or
campus right
exactly
here,
what
yeah.
it is. I mean, you know, it's not hard to figure out that
Right.
it must be a school, but it doesn't draw attention to itself in any particular way, and even
Sure.
if you know, it doesn't feel like, well, it's not. I mean, there's nothing about the structures that are
Sure.
that face the community really. It's all
Kind
turned
of
in.
inward.
Yeah.
Sure.
Which I think is, you know, that's typical really for university campuses. They tend to turn in and create sub-communities within community.
Right.
So I think it's typical, but I think the new building actually will have
An
it
impact
has,
on
yeah,
that
it really has an impact that way
impression.
because it's like completely like really looks out, you know, with
Right.
the big windows, and it's just like, yeah, you know, Hamlin, here we are. So, which I think is good.
True. You're right.
For an event called Empty Bowls, which is a dinner and lunch. It's centered around the meal, and it goes all day. And when you come in, you make a donation, and you get a meal of soup and bread donated from local restaurants. And when you leave, you take home a bowl that has been decorated by local artists or community members, as a reminder of people that go without food in the community.
Empty Bowls. How successful is it at drawing people in from the community and from the neighborhood? October.
That's something that I really want to focus on for this year and going forward in other years.
Okay.
I want this to be a community, pulling the community into the campus. I really think it's important that we aren't just part of the community, but the community is part of us as well.
Okay.
So we're not just placed here in the community and we're here 8 months of the year and then students
Okay.
are gone. And so I want it to be very much where Hamlin is a welcoming place for the community as well as the community is a welcoming place for Hamlin.
Okay.
And I think that this event is something that kind of invites that to happen. It's one of those steps that I'm hoping that it's going to be in the University Center when it comes to kind of welcome the community to this new building we're building.
Sure.
Things like that. One thing that I've always noticed about Hamlin is that there are very few doors facing outside of campus. And one thing that I'm really excited about the University Center is it has a door that's on Englewood and Snelling.
Okay.
And it's right facing campus, facing the community.
Right.
And to me, that's just a very obvious visual statement that
Sure.
this is part of the community. We want you to come through this door and take part in it. The University Center is also trying to have things in it that would be that a community may want. There's going to be a coffee shop in there. There's going to be things that aren't just for students
Okay.
and staff and faculty. So it could be something that more community members would be partaking. I've heard rumors that there might be a red box. I mean, things like that, where it would be something
Okay.
that there'd be a reason to come on other than.
Sure.
And I think that when most events are open to the public. A lot of events at Hamlin are open to the public. But once people actually get on campus for a reason, possibly not just an event that they heard about, is when they can feel comfortable enough to go to these kinds of events.
Sure.
So I'm hoping that this kind of a center that's facing the community, inviting the community in, will be something that can really help with that.
Okay.